So it is a spiritual endeavor. It's not just something we're trying to do to get numbers to look, really nice and fancy. And for those of you who are visiting today, this season, January, is always the vision casting month. So you've come in on a little bit on the vision casting month. So if you're like, oh man, I knew it. He's talking about numbers. He's talking about all these things. This is probably one of the only times during the year that I talk about this stuff, okay? Because it gives us direction for the whole year. So, you might say, well, if we double our church, what does that look like? And for us here, that means everybody's going to a session group. Everybody's going to the church service, and everybody's getting ready to go through the focus or has gone through the focus. That's what it looks like, to if you will, be a member here. You show up, and you build relationships. It's as simple as that. We don't have all these funky things we do here. We show up. Now, I do have a challenge out, not only to you, but to the interns. For the interns, their challenge is this: to integrate 10 new people by the end of summer. So Jason, Dan, and Jung Ho, their goal for this year is to integrate 10 new people each this year. Now, your goal, if you want to take it, you could just say, no, that's your goal, Joseph. No, I don't want it. Okay? But your goal is, if you want to take it, is to integrate one new person by June. 6 months. Now, our ultimate goal is by the end of the year, right? But I want to give you a deadline by June, so you can kind of think and feel maybe, I don't know, just maybe feel like Jesus, where you're calling people to yourself. So there's your challenge. Simple, isn't it? And we give you a few tips that might help you on the way. There are 3 types of people. There are 4 types of people that you'll be talking to in your life. There are people who go to church already. Okay? It's not wrong to tell people who go to other churches about what we're doing here. Do you want to know why? There's people in other churches who have the same vision as us, and God's growing them to come here. Now, for those of you who don't know me, who don't know our church, you might say, oh, yeah, look at you. You're trying to go into other churches, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you're here and you've been here for any amount of time, you would have seen how many people we have brought up on the stage and prayed for and blessed on to another church and another family because they felt called here. That's a tradition that we have here. We don't hold tight. We bless in and we bless out. Does that make sense? So, but there's other people in other churches that need to hear about what we're doing because they will feel called to this work. So I think that's very, very important. These are people you'll share with as well. There will be people who know God but don't go to a church. So you kind of maybe have a little bit of a common language. You'll be able to say, hey, well, I got a church. I like it. Would you like to come? I know you know God, but, you probably should get in some, people stuff too. There's a third type of person, what I call the investigators. People who don't know God, but they're coming either to a service or to a session group, or they're in your a sphere of relationships who are interested in God. We have many investigators here all the time. Particularly, over the last year and a half, 2 years, we've had a lot of Japanese investigators who come from Japan for a short period of time, kind of, take in what we have to offer. Some of them have received God. Some of them have received a positive experience of God. And some of them have just heard, listened, and went home. But they're investigating. And so you want to keep these in mind as you're sharing. And the last one is what I call the uninterested. Okay, they just don't care. You're probably not going to want to spend a lot of time trying to get them coming to church because they don't care right now. You know what I mean? It could be a real frustrating thing trying to convince them to come when they're not interested. And there are people like that, okay? I'm a very practical person, sometimes spiritual, but probably more practical. And I just know friends of mine who just don't care. And so you want to pray for those people, but, sometimes it's hard to... The first step of going to church is very, very difficult to get them to come. So there's 4 types of people that you'll begin to share with. And here's a little strategy for you, okay? 1 is you can invite people to things, can't you? You can invite them to session groups if you go, to a church service, to some of the natural things we do as a body, like when we did the living a dream. fundraiser, or you can invite them into your life, a dinner, coffee, things like that. So I'm just trying to give you some simple ways. And here's another great way is here. When you come here, there's people who visit. You know, when people visit here, usually that means they have maybe a little ounce of interest to be here, don't they? So one thing you can do is be friendly. I mean, it's an amazing strategy. I mean, I was in the management section, you know, how to be a great leader. And, you know, as I'm reading these books, I'm going, be friendly, be nice, be considerate, don't scream at them, don't be a jerk boss, don't use your power. I'm like, wow, you know, that's deep. So, you know, if you want to, you know, be friendly to people, that will help you. You know how you be friendly? Everybody smile. Now, I know there are a lot of introverts in here, okay? And you hate approaching somebody you don't know. You know, you could do two things. Oh, you could do three things. Not do anything. You can find somebody who's not so afraid to approach people and kind of hang out with them. Like me, I'll hang out with you, introduce you to somebody, we'll talk, and I'll drop you off, so to speak. You know what I mean? Drop you off in a relationship, you know. That ever happened? I did that to Dan once, and he came up and said, don't do that anymore, Joseph. He didn't know it. You know, I can't remember if it was the guy. Oh, it was Carla. I remember doing that when Carla first visited, and, you know, and I knew Carla, and I was talking to her, but, you know, I wanted her to meet some people, and she's really shy, too. And so I said, well, Dan, you know, he speaks Spanish, so, you know, they can, you know, I do all this rationalization in my head, of course. I said, Dan, come meet with somebody. And he walks up, and he's really introverted, you know, he says, hi, I'm Dan. She goes, hi, I'm Carla. And that's, you know, that's all they said. And I said, well, excuse me for a second, and I left him. So one of the things you could do is tuck in with somebody, you know, who's not afraid to do something. Another thing you can just do is kind of overcome a little bit of your fear. Walk up to somebody with a smile. That's to walk up to them like this. Hi, I'm integrating you. I got one. And don't do that, okay? Walk up to a smile and say, hi, this is my church. I haven't met you before. I'm so-and-so. Who are you? Cool, huh? And then you can even go a step deeper if you know, aren't sweating too much and shivering. You can say, why'd you come today? You know, very simple things. And I realize that's hard to do for people who are introverted. But nevertheless, you know, I really encourage you to do that.